Welcome to a brand new episode of What's New in Beauty. My name is Nia Lee, and I'm super excited to have you guys here. I know it has been a minute. If you are watching the replay, I'm going live. If you're listening to the audio, then you hear my normal voice as normal. But I have finally gotten my ish together and have decided that I kind of want to do these live again. Y'all let me know what the vibes are, if you prefer audio or if you prefer my reactions in real time with video. But I'm really excited to talk about some dope topics. We are going to be getting into Fenty Beauty and Ulta possibly coming together. And when I say that, I mean Fenty Beauty is going to be sold into Ulta. That's big news. We're also going to be talking about Pros, the DTC personalized hair care brand officially coming to Canada. And last but not least, if y'all have seen this movement where beauty has become very gimmicky, almost a little bit, but I think everyone's here for the gimmicks and everyone's looking for a laugh, and that is the Oscarmayer Bologna-Inspired sheet mask. And so without further ado, let's jump straight into the episode. I'm very excited to talk about this essentially rumor because I've Googled this, I have tried to research this, and there is nowhere where I can actually get this news to confirm it or not. But just the conversation that I actually just saw on Trendmood that was announced over the weekend that essentially Fenty Beauty may be coming to Ulta. If you guys aren't aware, Fenty Beauty is only currently sold in Sephora and also on their website currently right now. But as everybody knows, Ulta is a huge opportunity for one, if you're a bigger brand or even maybe kind of like an indie brand. Everybody loves Ulta. Like, if you guys know what the dealio is, I spoke about Ulta actually collaborating with Target a few months ago, and that was a really big push for them all together. And I was really excited to kind of see this news as well. And everybody in Trendmood's comment section was very excited about this collaboration, or essentially Fenty coming to Ulta. If you guys aren't aware, Ulta also has a really dope point system that a lot of people are really into, which I will get into. But like I said, Fenty and Sephora are actually owned by the same parent company. So if you didn't know, LVMH, aka Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, essentially owns a whole bunch of different brands, including Sephora as well as Fenty. And actually, Fenty is underneath Kendo, which is a division of LVMH. So I'll get into it. But essentially, LVMH, Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, owns Benefit Cosmetics. They own Makeup Forever, KVD Beauty, Fresh Beauty, also Marc Jacobs as well too. And I actually spoke about Marc Jacobs actually kind of like dying out or quote unquote discontinuing. I want to say like maybe 4 or 5 months ago, but it was actually confirmed last year that they're actually not discontinuing despite all the rumors, but instead their licensing agreement with Kendo Brands essentially has come to an end. So it came to an end later of last year, and a brand rep actually says that they're exploring opportunities altogether. So Marc Jacobs isn't going anywhere. For all of y'all that thought myself included, for all of y'all that thought Marc Jacobs was going somewhere, they're actually not. They're just looking to probably rebrand and find another company who they can actually go ahead and, sell their products, or essentially look to them as a source, because I don't think they're in Sephora anymore. I remember them completely kind of clearing everything out. But like I said, they're not being discontinued. So let's wrap up that rumor altogether, because the Marc Jacobs rep actually confirmed that. So again, there's that conversation of Ulta and points, which a lot of people in the comment section of this post were very excited for. And if you don't know, like I said, Ulta has pretty much a dope point system, and I'll actually explain it a little bit further here. But I find this is a big draw for people with Ulta. The fact that you can essentially get points, essentially the fact that you can actually use those points for anything in Ulta. It doesn't have to be beauty related. And I think this is where a lot of people were kind of like excited for this news. As we know, you can go to Sephora, you can buy Fenty, and you can get your points, but you can essentially only spend those points on makeup products. With Ulta, like I said, you can pretty much spend it on anything in the actual store, even though Ulta Beauty is a big thing. And so, like I said, this is essentially by far the biggest draw for customers who shop at Ulta frequently. So there is more than a 95% sales penetration and 34 million active members in their Ultimate Rewards loyalty program. So that's a lot of people in a loyalty program altogether. I mean, Ulta, I've spoken about this before, like their collaboration with Target was probably one of the best things that they ever did. And I remember people being super duper excited about that. But just to know these numbers, like that's pretty freaking high. 95% sales penetration and 34 million members in your ultimate rewards loyalty program. Like, I don't know how many people are in the Sephora loyalty program, but like, that's a lot of people. I'm just like pointing that out all together. And again, like I said, it's not just beauty related. It's actually related across all fronts within Ulta, even though Ulta Beauty is a big thing. And so, like I said, this statistic, this loyalty program encourages retention as customers seek reach levels and statuses within the leading program. So essentially what that means is anybody who's essentially in the actual program, they reach certain levels, pretty much kind of like how most loyalty programs work. But like I said, everybody is obsessed with Ulta, and I think everyone is very excited for this news. And like I said, as of today, you can actually shop Fenty products on their website and online and in store at Sephora. So let me know if y'all are excited about this news. I ain't gonna hold y'all. You already know what the dealio is. I'm in Canada. Ulta was supposed to be here about 3 or 4 years ago. Nothing has been said and ready to, and like put together in any sort of movement. Like, I think they just kind of wanted to put that out there to even just see if anybody was even going to care. And I don't even think a lot of news publications picked that up. It's kind of like, it's giving Target coming to Canada kind of vibes. If you guys already know what the vibe was with that, Target came to Canada, failed. Did not do well. And one of the reasons why they didn't really do well was because everybody loves Target because you can get all these amazing deals and you can get a whole bunch of stuff for like, you know, a reasonable amount of money. But in Canada, our dollar ain't worth anything. So Target coming over to Canada wasn't really going to be anything amazing. And like the brands and certain things like we already were going to shop at all these other malls and certain things like that had really good deals altogether. And so at the end of the day, Target, I see Adrienne here, Target came and left real quick. Essentially, yes, because a lot of people didn't care about Target the way that they do in the States because the deals weren't great, the products weren't great, and so on and so forth. And so I don't think Ulta is ever going to come over to Canada. Like, I was, again, reading the comment section of this post, and I think some girl said that she emailed Ulta to actually confirm if this was actually happening or not, and Ulta said that it's definitely not happening. So I don't know how true that is or not, but for all y'all in the States, in the US, if Fenty comes to Ulta, is that a game changer for y'all? Let me know, because in the comment section of Trend Mood's post, everybody is kind of like, this is a game changer. This is awesome. There was a lot of shock as well, too, that maybe something might be brewing in the world of Sephora and Kendo and LVMH with Fenty. And as you know, I've just spoke about Marc Jacobs here, like, you know, essentially licensing agreements expire. So is the conversation of Fenty's licensing agreement expiring? Who knows? But the simple fact that this is even being put into the air is very exciting. And I think, again, this is just another big win for Ulta. I think I spoke about this on a podcast a few weeks ago. Yeah, Austin's saying don't speak that name. But yes, I remember talking about how Ulta was killing it a few podcasts ago. And I said that I wanted to go buy stock in Ulta. I have not bought stock in Ulta as of yet. But again, like, I think this is, again, more opportunity. I mean, the stock isn't that expensive, to be quite honest. But like, at the end of the day, this is really exciting altogether, especially if Ulta makes its way, if Fenty makes its way over to Ulta, and Ulta finds its way to become like the Thanos of the beauty world. Because again, I'm seeing all these people comment and say, you know, all we need is Rare Beauty, or all we need is Charlotte Tilbury, and all we need is all that kind of stuff until, you know, maybe I don't have to shop at Sephora anymore because, you know, of the loyalty program or certain things like that. So I don't know. It seems really exciting altogether. I mean, I'm all here. You already know my love for Fenty runs deep. So I'm really excited to, one, see this news maybe come together. Who knows? Maybe this is just kind of like one of those things that get kind of flown in the air so that Sephora can kind of tighten up a little bit with Fenty. Who knows? But I know at the end of the day, however, you know, you're going to be able to shop for Fenty, I know the girls and guys are going to find their Fenty, if it's at Ulta, if it's on their website, if it's on Sephora or Kohl's or wherever, because we know that all these corporations are coming together and really making some awesome big moves. So just checking out what you guys are saying as well here, because I'm going a mile a minute. And do y'all like the glasses? Like, or should I take them off? I feel like they're a slight pretentious a little bit, but I kind of like it, and I don't have any makeup on my face. I want to shop at Ulta so bad. Absolutely. The Thanos of the beauty world. Yes, that's exactly how I feel like Ulta is. Like, they're just grabbing up all the Infinity Stones, aka all the dope beauty brands. Don't wait to buy stocks. Buy it as soon as you finish your live. Okay, done and done. Done and done. I'm not gonna play around anymore. I literally said this like almost 3 months ago that I was gonna buy Ulta stock, and like the stock has definitely gone up like now, and now I'm being told to go buy the stock. So I'm not gonna play around anymore. I'm gonna get my ish together. So going on into the next topic here, I'm really excited to talk about this really, really dope brand. And of course, always let me know, y'all, what are your thoughts about these topics, especially with Fenty possibly going to be sold into Ulta. I would love to hear your thoughts, whether it's on this live or whether it's on an Instagram post or Twitter. Or, I mean, we don't have a Twitter, but you can try to find a way to reach your girl. But I'm really excited to talk about this next topic, and it's with this brand, which I have seen this brand everywhere. I remember when they were first initially launching, they were everywhere. Their ads, whoever was doing their Facebook ads, were really doing a great job because they kept targeting me over and over and over again. And so this is all about the brand Prose, which they're essentially a personalized hair care brand. And if you haven't seen them before, their vibe is very like Aesop, but for hair, and a little bit colorful. And they have been around for quite some time now, and they've actually officially launched in Canada. And this is really exciting for a lot of reasons, because to me, brands take such a long time to make its way to Canada because they're trying so hard to like corner and completely dominate the US market. Nothing wrong with that. It's actually probably smarter for you to go ahead and do that because the US has so many people. But I love that the brand essentially kind of went to expand over into Canada, and pretty much said it was kind of a natural step for them. This is actually what the co-founder and CEO, Arnaud Plaz, actually said. He said, after scaling our made-to-order production, expanding into Canada was a natural next step in extending our shipping capabilities internationally. So I'm all the way here for it because, again, I am always here for brands that want to make its way to Canada, because a lot of these dope brands do not make its way to Canada, especially a direct-to-consumer brand like Prose, where you've got to go on their website, you've got to fill out this really dope quiz, and you get these kind of curated products to you. And if you guys are aware, personalized beauty is like here, and it's been here for quite some time. If you guys are aware of the brand Function of Beauty, very similar to Prose, but I would say it's very more Gen Z focused, almost like very colorful, very cute. Like, that's kind of the vibe. I haven't really seen personalized hair care since kind of Function of Beauty, and now Function of Beauty has kind of evolved into skincare and hair care and all that type of stuff as well. Well, they did hair care. Now they've evolved into skincare, and they've done boosters, and they have stuff in stores and all this type of stuff. But the simple fact that Prose has become one of the fastest growing direct-to-consumer beauty brands on the market. Like I said, selling these hyper custom made-to-order hair care products direct to consumers, with revenues hitting $80 million last year. That's a lot of money. I can't even comprehend any of that. But for something that's one direct to consumer, meaning like I don't got to go through another channel in order to buy this. I've got to go directly onto prose.com and actually have to shop for the products. And it marked the third year in a row that the brand has actually achieved 3x its growth revenue. So the brand's doing very, very well. And like I said, it doesn't seem to me that they kind of wavered on really making sure that they were actually staking their claim in North America as a whole. So they've got the US market already, and now they're looking to dominate Canada. And again, they said with its Canadian expansion, they want to be more mindful and respectful and show support for the indigenous groups, specifically the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people, and who essentially reside, and making sure that this opportunity that they have is here to foster new relationships and, of course, opportunities with Indigenous organizations. So I love that personally, because again, a lot of the times we see a lot of these brands, they come into Canada or they start selling in Canada, and they just, it's a money grab, you know what I mean? And everyone's got to make money. These beauty brands have to find a way to succeed in this market, especially for a brand like Prose that isn't getting the backing of VC members or a Sephora or whatever. And just the simple fact that they're actually making the decision to actually say to themselves, we want to be mindful, we want to be respectful, and we want to show support for the indigenous groups, and be very specific by doing so. And they've actually decided that they want to support and they actually want to help with the actual charity and fundraisers of these two specific ones that I want to make sure that I mention. Raven Trust, which is a charity dedicated to raising funds for indigenous peoples, access to justice and coastal First Nations, and Coastal First Nations, which is an organization that supports the rightful stewards of this land in protecting the biodiversity and beauty of the Great Bear National Forest. So they're actually going to be donating $10,000 to each organization during this partnership as a step towards supporting the Indigenous legal defense across Canada. I'm all the way here for it. To me, this makes me really excited to go ahead and, one, check out the brand, support the brand as well, because they're putting their money where their mouth is and understanding that coming into Canada, you are kind of, in this way, kind of occupying this space, you know what I mean? Like, they currently right now are manufacturing and doing everything they can out of Brooklyn, but I can see them wanting to make the decision to kind of have a facility in Canada depending on how things go. So the simple fact that they're actually coming to donate and support and really acknowledge, you know what I mean, without people telling them to do so, is really commendable right off the bat. And the fact that they are actually saying that this is something that we want to do initially is beautiful, and I'm all the way here for it. Just off the back of that, kind of charitable donation, but also putting your money where your mouth is, and then also being honest about it off of your first kind of stint into the Canadian beauty market and saying that this is what we want to go ahead and do. And again, like I said, I actually tried the Prose quiz because I wanted to see what it was all about, you know what I mean? As some of you may or may not know, I have very short hair. I love my hair short. It's been short for almost, I want to say, 6 or 7 years now. So when it comes to shampoos and hair care, like, I'm not very diligent with it. I'm also a very lazy person. So for me, the simple fact of having to spend lots and lots of money on my hair care, I just never see the point. But for y'all who have luscious, beautiful, fine, curly, textured hair, this might be something that you want to check out, because I took the quiz and I felt like it was like the red carpet of quizzes. Like, I felt like Prose wanted to know every single aspect of what was going on with me. Everything from like what scents that I like, what is like, everything from like the little minuscule details that you get with hair care. How often am I actually doing my hair care as well? Like, the quiz took me at least 10 minutes, y'all. Like, I'm not going to hold y'all. So try out the quiz. It's free, of course. And you essentially get a full experience and a full layout of what it is that you need to be using for your hair in order to make sure that it's taken care of and that it's healthy. To me, Prose doesn't just seem like a brand that's here to kind of give you cute packaging and, let you go about your way. To me, they really seem to give a crap if your hair is actually taken care of and it's actually healthy. So again, when you actually try out the quiz, they'll actually give you pretty much a regime of shampoo, conditioner, a hair oil, because I said I use hair oils, a curl cream. I said I had curly hair, but y'all already, if y'all seeing what I have going on here, sometimes it can get curly when the grow out comes, and a pre-shampoo scalp mask with the option of actually re-ing up monthly, bi-monthly, and quarterly, which I think is really smart with a subscription. And what I love to see most than anything is just brands making the decision to actually give a crap about their consumers. You know what I mean? Like, I think time has really showed us that we don't have much of it, and we need to savor every little moment, especially when it comes to how we take care of ourselves, whether that's skin, body, hair. And to me, Prose is a brand that's actually doing the work in sense of like making sure that you have everything equipped to actually feel good about your hair care and your hair health altogether. So I'm very excited for it. Let me know if y'all have tried out Prose before. I've actually heard other influencers talk about the brand, and I'm not gonna hold y'all. Prices a little pricey, but it's your hair. You know what I mean? Like, you want to make sure that you're actually taking care of it. And if you really think about it, using all those kind of like inexpensive, affordable hair care products, nothing's wrong with it. But as you know, if you want to actually be supporting a brand that's actually cares about your hair and cares about your experience and is actually doing some awesome things as well for Indigenous folks, like, I'm just saying, put your money where your mouth is. So I wonder if they're making a commitment to include diversity and inclusion within their hiring and vendors they use. I would love to know that. And I'm, of course, going to tag pros in this episode. And I'd love for them to actually expand on that if they definitely could. Or you can actually drop a comment and let them know what your thought process on that as well, too. Because I think that that's definitely something that I see. Like when I go on the brand's page, I don't get a sense that they're trying to pander. I don't get a sense that they're trying to, weirdly fill a void and make it saturated. To me, it seems that they actually give a crap. So I would totally make sure that when I tag them in this, you actually ask them the same question as well too, and we could start a bigger conversation, because to me, Pros seems like the brand that's actually doing the legwork and is not just trying to do things to try to be cool. Like this personalized hair care thing is not so you can just add your name on a product. Like we really want to make sure that we're actually taking care of you. And it seems to me as well that the partners and the employees that they have as well are quite diverse, at least from what I've seen on the website. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, perfect. Alrighty, y'all. So going into the last topic, I definitely wanted to end on a light note because when I saw this product, I honestly thought it was a gimmick, like a big gimmick. And the only reason I thought that was because how often does social media and the beauty world kind of troll us sometimes because we're at home, because we're, almost in a sense bored, because a lot of us are working from home and are probably looking for something entertaining to do. So Oscar Mayer decided throughout this time period that they were going to launch a $5 Bologna-Inspired face mask that actually sold out less than a day after its Amazon debut. So mask is $5, looks like bologna, it's slimy like bologna. So they actually decided, Kraft Heinz Oscar Mayer partnered with Soul Mamas, a Korean skincare company, to create a hydrating and restoring hydrofacial mask that promotes skin elasticity, improves hydration, and moisture retention. Y'all, I need you to see this mask. It is borderlining bologna-esque vibes, but I want you to even tap in a little bit deeper, because what Oscar Mayer decided to do with the concept of this is genius. So the brand had to reiterate, one, that the actual product actually wasn't a slimy piece of meat, even though it looked like it, and that they're not actually edible because, people are crazy. And there's a large warning on the packaging that says, do not eat bologna masks, because we've seen how it goes. The Tide Pods, we saw that challenge, how that went. So I wouldn't be surprised if people tried it with Oscar Mayer and then lawsuit on their hands and all that messiness. So in the Kraft Heinz press release, they said the mask was created as a playful spin on the often serious New Year, New You trope, which love that, because how many times have we said New Year, New Me and never fully meant it? You know what I mean? It was just a cute little hashtag to put or even to say. But this is Oscar Mayer actually deciding that they want to poke fun on it, or they want to add this kind of playful spin with its meaty take on the self-care space, as it's also an homage to those oddball kids in school who would bite out eyes and a mouth on the bologna slice and put it on their face. I remember seeing images of this stuff. I don't think I've ever actually experienced it in real time, but nasty. You know what I mean? Just full blown. The kids putting bologna on their face are just different. You know what I mean? They are just different. But what I also loved altogether was just that the fact that they wanted to have this kind of play on vibe with it, and they kind of wanted to look at it as a kind of a satirical situation, which a lot of brands I find nowadays are not as clever to do so. And mind you, Oscar Mayer is a brand that sells food. So typically they're not kind of dabbling into the wellness space too much. And the only brands I've ever seen kind of tap into really fun stuff like this is probably Fenty Beauty and probably Fenty Skin. But to me, I think this was really dope. I think it was really awesome. I was actually shocked how many people were excited for this mask. I'm looking at comment sections. I'm looking at tag photos. People are putting on the mask. It straight up looks like bologna. And it's just like this slimy, almost pasty pink. Like, imagine bologna and just putting it straight on your face. Like, that's essentially what the mask looks like. Of course, not edible whatsoever. Another thing I wanted to point here as well, that Kraft Heinz also blamed the shortage, because they sold out, like I said, in less than a day, on unexpected, incredibly high demand, which is not a bad problem to have if you're a brand altogether, right? You want more people to be excited about this mask. And it said in a statement that the product would be restocked over the coming days. I did check Amazon recently, and it did look like it was already up, but who knows? It could be one of those things where there might have been just a glitch in the matrix, a glitch in the Amazon system, because they're always updating products right away. It was actually the #1 new release in Amazon's beauty and personal care section. So everyone's going super duper excited for this bologna mask altogether. Like I said, it actually launched a few days ago, and everybody and their mom was very excited for it. They actually sent out a couple PR to people if you go on their tag section on Oscar Mayer's page, you can see it in real time. It looks nasty, I'm not going to lie. But the fact that it's also $5 also, helps its cause a little bit, because it's like a fun little gimmicky mask, right? But it also promotes skin elasticity, improves hydration, and moisture retention. So although it does look like a big slap of bologna, it's actually like pretty good for your skin. I don't know how it would bode well with my oily, acne-prone skin, but that's just another thing. According to CNBC, back in 2019, Kraft wrote down the value of its Kraft and Oscar Mayer brands by $15 billion because consumers have shifted their preferences away from processed foods. Very true. But due to its popularity of the face mask, perhaps there is a pivot into the growing wellness sector in its future. So as we've seen this time and time again, brands who aren't necessarily like in this beauty world come and like really put a stamp on it. And I think this is Oscar Mayer's way of deciding, maybe we might do a little something here, because a lot of people's conversations and a lot of people's viewpoints about processed food is different. I actually remember when I saw this, because it's very funny. This actual mask got posted in my work Slack recently. And I also pointed out that this reminds me very much of Elf collaborating with Chipotle. Like, y'all remember that? Like, that was actually like almost like 4 or 5 months ago. I want to say like 6 months ago. And everyone went super duper excited for this collab. So maybe everybody's just like secretly wants like food within their beauty, skincare, wellness products. I have no idea, but like everybody seems to be very excited for it, especially if the brand gets really creative with it. I find when the brand doesn't really like put its all into the marketing, like it can fall flat. And a lot of the times with this type of stuff, it really is the marketing. Like the products could be very basic, very straightforward, as we see here with this $5 Bologna-Inspired mask. But the fact that there was like a rollout, the fact that we could see it in real time, the fact that people were trying it out and going crazy over it, the amount of press releases that were written about this damn bologna mask is insane. So just goes to show you, if you've got the right product, the right marketing rollout, and of course the right kind of partners, because I don't think they could have made this happen without Soul Mamas, it just goes to show you that your mask can sell out within that time period, because who's checking for Oscar Mayer for skincare? Nobody. But if they come out with something next, everyone's going to be on their toes with that one. So I'm sure Gen Z kids are loving them. Honestly, it's Gen Z, and I've also seen some people who are like not Gen Z love the mask. So I think as a whole, because Oscar Mayer is a brand that's been around for decades, everyone's kind of like, what's going on here? But I'm also intrigued and I'm also excited. But yeah, TikTok definitely had a field day with this. That mask sounds like fun, but nasty. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Do you have brand deals with any of the beauty companies you talked about today? If so, how do you create the relationships with them? So I actually don't. I never have any relationships with the brands that I talk about on What's New in Beauty. I honestly just look for these topics over the course of the week and then decide to report on the top 3 or maybe 4 or maybe 1, depending on what is it that I'm actually speaking about. And I report about it because I think it's interesting. And I also think I love marketing and I love social media. So again, brands that really know how to do things properly on social obviously gravitate towards me. But I always think it's always a beautiful thing when a brand watches an episode and comments or shares or shows some love, because I'm just here to show love. I'm just here to talk about what's new in beauty. I'm just here to talk about what's fun and exciting, what I personally find fun and exciting, but y'all are always putting me on to some really dope brands and the things that they do. So I'm happy that I can come to y'all with this dope episode, and I hopefully because I can't speak this entire episode. My goodness, I need to drink some water. I'm very excited to kind of get back into the swing of things with what's new in beauty. I've been kind of lax since the new year because I've just been trying to get my life together, but hope to be coming back to y'all next Monday with a brand new episode of What's New in Beauty. Another thing, I was tired of talking about celebrity beauty brands, so that's probably another reason why I kind of stayed away for a little bit, but it's a brand new year. So many brands are going to be doing dope things for 2022, and you already know your girl's going to be here to cover it. So without further ado, thank y'all so much for another episode of What's New in Beauty, and I'll catch y'all next week.